The first thing to avoid is using amp sims altogether. Don't be a loser. Get a real amp.
Well, there you have it, guys. Right from the guy's opinion who matters more than everybody else's, Mr. Tube Rocker 69. If you're using an amp sim, you're a loser. Okay, here's the problem. Here's the thing about AI. Man, that is some truth there. Hey, good morning, everybody. How the hell you doing? Once again, I'm kind of doing these ahead of time so I can get some content done for January. I'm going to be on the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise, going to be going to NAMM, so I'm going to be all over the country at the end of the month. So trying to get things done a little bit ahead of time because I don't want to leave you guys a great big lag in the middle of people go, where the hell are you? I only did that once, like way back in 2015. I took a week off and I got a bunch of posts. Where are you, man? Where are you, man? And I'm like, am I not allowed to take a vacation? That's the thing. I'll be honest here. I've never actually discussed this. Anytime I travel or whatnot, I've got to scramble to get videos done. So you guys have something to watch while I travel. And so if I've got to go for 2 weeks, not only do I got to do the content, that I'm doing currently, but I've also got to do 2 weeks extra content. So when I'm traveling, I've still got videos to put out. It's a little bit stressful. All I can say is, hey, for this viewer's comments, cut me a little slack. Maybe give it a like, a thumbs up, that kind of thing. Maybe even hit the subscribe button. It'd be a real big help. Anyway, we're going to do something real cool when I hit 550,000 subscribers. I've got an extra 5150 kicking around. I think I promised to actually give this away right around 500,000 subscribers years ago. And I just remembered I did that. So I think we're going to raffle that off when I hit that number. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button already and you join the content, please do me the favor. Hit the subscribe button. I'd be happy to send that amp to somebody because I just realized the other day, I'm like, holy fuck, I've got 3 versions of this amp. What the hell do I need that for? I need one, if that. So anyway, yeah, I'd be happy to give one away. I'm going to ship it anywhere in the world. So help me help you and hit the fucking subscribe button.
Okay, Glenn610, I fucking see you, main. That whole section was great. I'm so proud of the work you've been putting in to improve your playing, and it shows. I've been watching since you first dropped How to Start a Band, and the improvement in your playing has skyrocketed. Fuck you, Glenn. Keep up the great work.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. And here's the thing. I mean, like, I've been getting a few compliments on the playing, but as my skills develop, I realize I have an extremely long way to go. That's the thing about recording skills, too. I mean, not just guitar skills, is the more you learn, the more you realize how very little you actually know. And I gotta admit, though, I do appreciate the words of encouragement. It definitely helps me want to play more. And I gotta admit, I'm getting guitars coming in and like, hey, I'm actually having fun playing them now. And maybe one day I'll be able to record guitar confidently enough to be able to, bang out a guitar review and keep it super entertaining as well. Miracles can happen. Who the hell knows? Whoa. But yeah, we'll see. And once again, thanks for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. It does encourage me to do more. So thanks so very much for that.
Great to hear musicians ask about that and talk about when to buy stuff, whether to buy stuff, and how to get what you need to sound good to tape and not waste a bunch of money. I work in marketing, and the numbers say that all the people out there, not you guys of course, will click on anything that is new and improved or comes in a limited colorway and ignores all the other stuff that doesn't need to be redesigned because it's already good until it becomes vintage.
Man, that is some truth there, that's for sure, especially if you're into like cameras and whatnot. I love the modern cinema cameras and what you can do, but we get incremental updates to what they can do. Oh, check out the new version, it does this, but it doesn't do everything you need to do. I mean, like, case in point, I'm a big fan of the Blackmagic cameras. I think the image is great, but they're less than fucking useless for YouTube content, that's for sure. I mean, like, all they gotta do is put a fucking flip screen on the damn thing, and it would work. And what do? They come up with a flip screen that flips up but doesn't flip up and over, so you can like see yourself when you're shooting or access the controls on the camera when you're close to a wall. That's gonna probably come in a couple generations when they've already sold as many cameras as they can to everyone else, and then they'll actually give us what they need. I'm sure that comes in the guitar world as well. I mean, like, we do see some pretty cool tech, that's for sure, like locking tuners, Evertunes, that kind of stuff. But I mean, like, ooh, new pickup, it's shinier, that kind of stuff. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sakes. Remember, guys, shop smart, shop S-smart.
Now that you know a large part of the sound is in the speaker, you should try an amp you think sucks like a Line 6 Spider through a good cabinet. Remember how you like the Line 6 Spider valve? It has vintage 30s.
Actually, I ran that Spider valve through a Laney cabinet and it sounded absolutely fucking monstrous. And I gotta shout out Ulrich Wild for suggesting that, because I remember I was checking out his amp collection. I'm like, dude, what the hell is this? He's like, oh, it's fucking great. Just plug in a good speaker. Away we go. That was actually a really fucking good amp. So I'll give props where props are due. Some of the other Spiders, I'm not so sure if you can turn off the speaker emulation, though, to be able to run it clean into a good speaker. But I do have something really cool coming up. You guys want to see this? This is something I want to check out. So I bought this last summer with the intention of doing this video. Maybe I'm going to do this January as a video, because I think I need to get this done because it's been sitting around for far too long. This is a Crate 60-watt combo. The speaker that, Crate's had a pretty horrific reputation for awful guitar sounds. And I bought this because it had a speaker output, so I wanted to hook up a cabinet, but the thing is it just parallels the output. So I bought a new jack for it, and I'm gonna hook it up to a decent cab, and we're gonna see what kind of sound we can actually get with this thing, as opposed to the horrific thing that this speaker puts out. I'll do an A/B comparison and show that yes, even old solid state heads can actually be pretty awesome with a good speaker. Should be interesting to see, that's for sure. If you guys want to see that video, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and if you got other suggestions for old shitty solid state combos that you think might actually be pretty good with a decent speaker, I'm always open to suggestions. Hit me up, let me know.
Glenn, in one of your shows you mentioned cleaving low end on everything to eliminate low end clutter. Can you give us a walkthrough on this process? I suffer from low end clutter, and when I go in and start cleaving it from guitars, my mics sound worse.
Okay, here's the problem. You know what you're doing? You're cleaving the low end, but you're missing the most obvious thing. Yes, your guitars sound worse because you've got them soloed. That's okay. I've made this mistake about 1 billion times myself. When you're mixing the guitars, don't solo them and start cleaving. That's the trick. High pass filters, guys. Rhythm guitars, you want to cut all the way up to maybe 90, maybe 100 hertz, something like that. But once again, don't listen to them soloed. Listen to them in the context of the mix. That's the important part. That's the part everybody's going to hear. Might as well mix like that. Hey guys, once again, the way I fund this show is through my company, Spectre Digital. Once again, we've got extinction level event drums, we've got Singularity virtual bass, and of course, we've got my personal favorite, Element bass. It's getting all these amazing reviews. It's our awesome bass amp sim. It does some pretty amazing things like this. You can check that over at spectredigital.com if you want to push your mixes to the next level. You need crushing bass tone. You need the element that makes up a great mix. Element bass.
This guy has only talked about brands and products for a long time. It depends on who pays him. Everything he talks about is pretty bad.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. Everything I talk about is horrible, especially that 6505 block letter reissue. Yeah, that was just awful, especially because it's like half the price of a used block letter on the market and sounds the same. Yeah, just horrendous. There's also, the Soldano SLO 100 I reviewed. That's just fucking terrible. This one-of-a-kind custom V from Vicious Guitars in Toronto, just absolute fucking garbage. You might be right. Everything I recommend is just awful. Or maybe you're a little upset that I mentioned Tonex can do what Kemper can do for a whole lot less money, and you might have spent your money on a Kemper. I don't know. What do you guys think is more likely? I'm out of my fucking mind, or I might have called it a little too close to what this guy's pride is riding on.
Young creators desperately need a primer on how and what to post. There's tons of plagiarism all over the internet, and the only enforcement is when you get publicly called out. People entering the creative industry need to understand the difference between putting the work in and copy-paste, and all that AI is trained on derivative works.
Well, there's been a saying, good artists borrow, great artists steal. So there is some truth to that as well. Here's the thing about AI, I don't think it's going to disrupt metal music at all, because metal music has already been copy-paste for the last 20 years. So I can't see how it'll get worse, to be honest with you.
So, just one question. A company calls you and asks you to review a guitar. Then they send you the guitar that you will review. It is possibly that they send you the best instrument they could possibly make, very well set up, etc., etc. And is it even remotely possible that when I buy the same model from a shop, it won't be the same asking for a friend?
Well, hey there, Dirty Harry. That's why I have a series called The Stealth Buy. I bought a number of instruments and amps and that sort of thing under companies' noses and had them sent to friends' houses so they wouldn't know it's me, so they can't give me their quote-unquote A-list model, because I want to get the real consumer experience. I've done that with numerous Harley Benton things. Turns out the Vertical Vintage 30 cab, even though it's the same speaker everybody on earth is fucking using, actually sounded really fucking great. I was very impressed with what I got. I did the Harley Benton EX84 as well as a Stealth Buy. that was cool. Another stealth buy was this. This is the LTD Kirk Hammett guitar. Oh, yeah, this thing is fucking ace. Just, I can't say enough good things about it other than the ridiculous bass boat black paint job. Hey, great taste in paint jobs, Kirk. I know you're into horror movies, but fuck, man, you didn't have to paint your guitar like one. So if you're worried if you're gonna get the consumer experience or not, try watching the show.
Here's an idea. If adding bass traps in a roof solved Glenn's boomy bass response while recording, how would adding those in a rehearsal room affect the band rehearsing there? Because I've experienced it so many times. You're too loud. I need this to be loud in order to get the sound I want. Turn the bloody bass amp down. Aim it somewhere else. I wonder how many bands would not have broken up over the loudness wars and rehearsal aggression if the rehearsal room had received proper room acoustics treatment?
Well, I don't have a definitive answer to that because I've never actually rehearsed in a room with good acoustics before, and I'm sure most bands haven't either. Might be something worth investigating. Is it worth building bass traps for your practice space? That might actually be pretty fucking cool. I've seen it do some amazing things in rooms, mine included. My buddy Dave Velez, he put in all that acoustic treatment in his drum room, just clean the toms up so much. So I'm thinking, yeah, it might actually have an effect and might make your whole jam experience that much more fun. Great thing is it doesn't cost a lot of money. All you got to do is go to Home Depot, get yourself some Roxol Safe and Sound, and build some frames for it. Throw it in the corner. Way you go. The only thing stopping you from making this happen is your own laziness.
Speakers have more effect, but the amp pickup's deaf, so make a diff. Maybe not that drastic, but they do. Also, it's mainly the amp, TBH. You can have a good speaker, but a shitty amp, and it will still sound shitty.
Well, thank you oh so much for that eloquently displayed use of prose. Truly, you are a poet. However, I am going to put that to the test with this, so I'm not just going to make idle chatter. I'm not going to make bold pronouncements on things I know nothing of. All I can say is let's make some recordings and see if there is any truth to what you're saying. Opinions are great to have, but evidence doesn't lie.
Have you checked out Godin guitars and Dingwall basses made in Canada yet?
Yeah, I've had a Dingwall for years. I think it's fantastic. I can see why they're so fucking popular. As for Godin, I've had a couple come in the studio, but I actually got to check out Honeymoon Suite last summer, and their guitar player, Derry Green, who's also like their principal songwriter, he was playing a really badass custom Godin that I was pretty impressed by. Really cool guitar, kind of reminded me a bit of the old Charvel San Dimas's. I reached out to Godin and say, hey, could we maybe check one of those out? And they're like, yeah, you want to get Derry on the show as well? I'm like, fuck yeah. For those of you guys who don't know, Honeymoon Suite was, a commercial hard rock band in the 80s. They had a couple really cool tracks, one being New Girl Now and my personal favorite, Burning in Love, very dark for a pop song, that's for sure. But it was some damn fine guitar playing, damn fine songwriting, and I would love to have Derry on the show. If you guys want to see Derry Green on the show, leave a comment below for all you guys who might have heard of Honeymoon Suite. Let me know. And if you haven't heard of Honeymoon Suite, go check out the song New Girl Now. You can check it out on Spotify, on YouTube, that sort of thing. Killer fucking track, that's for sure.
728, the audio engineer. This is the person who uses a flashlight, even the best lit rooms, to place a microphone in exactly the right place on a speaker or drumhead. I've seen them do it so many times. They know how to manipulate sound. So if they're talking and making salespeople and corporate chain stores nervous, we should listen.
Hey man, all I want to do is make sure you guys aren't throwing money away on stuff you don't need to get better sound. That is my whole purpose here.
Stop yelling!
I promise you this, when you stop wasting your money on stupid shit you don't need that's not going to improve your sound, I will stop yelling. How about that?
1978, private college tuition, BYU and non-LDS, paid $375 per semester. $375 in 1978. Minimum wage work means about 120 hours of work. 2023, state college tuition, $6,277. In-state tuition, University of Wyoming, $6,277 in 2023. Minimum wage work means 865 hours of work. Gee, thanks, boomers, for squandering the best economy ever in the history of man in one generation.
They say there's no substitute for a good education, but that's generally people trying to sell you college diplomas that aren't going to get you a job. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy college, but I will say this. If you're considering going, crunch the numbers and see if there's an actual benefit to it before you sign the dotted line. Make sure you're going to get something out of that commitment and not just the administration at the college you'll be attending.
5 years later, and these words need to be heard more than ever. You're allowed to disagree. It doesn't mean you're right, though.
Yeah, that was a real fun episode. Somebody threatened to knock my teeth out because I gave The Spider a bad review. I think he was looking for a little bit of purchase validation, and he didn't like it very much, so he threatened me several times, and then, vanished off into the ether like the coward he was. His name was Marlon Brando, by the way. Never ever met Marlon. I've no idea who wrote it, but that's the great thing about being an anonymous coward. You can threaten people and there's no real consequence to it. Isn't the internet great? But I always say this, look, we are allowed to disagree with each other. We can have a difference of opinion on things, that especially in music, because that's what's supposed to make music interesting, is when we have different tastes and different likes. Hopefully that we can combine those into something unique. I mean, one band I was in, we definitely had our own sound because everybody in the band was into different things. And when we came together, somehow it fucking worked. Whereas, a lot of the modern music we get these days is everybody's into the exact same thing, so we get a big recycling of ideas. And that's unfortunate because it seems like nobody wants to interact with anybody that they have a difference of opinion on. They just want to be affirmed on everything all the time, and there's no growth when that happens. And that's really, really sad.
All hail Glenn, scourge of elitism, the bringer of truth, screamer of facts, mad grumpy uncle.
Well, thanks for watching the show, but I definitely don't need hailing. I do appreciate the enthusiasm, but just remember, I'm no better than anybody else. I'm just a guy who spent most of his life on a fucking assembly line and just got tired of being fed a bunch of bullshit. All right, that's it for this episode. Hope you're having a very good 2024 so far. I'm going to be at NAMM from January 25th to the 27th, and then the next week I'm going to be on the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise. So if you're out and about and you're running into me, don't be afraid to say hi. I've always got time to meet people who watch the show. It's always great to hear from you guys. It's always good to talk to you guys and get to know the people behind the mouse clicks. And believe me, I appreciate every single one of you guys who've hit the subscribe button and leave comments and all that. Even the people who get really pissed off with me on what I do. I do appreciate the fact that you took time out of your day to voice your opinion. And once again, we're allowed to disagree, and that's totally fine. Anyway, you guys have an amazing weekend, and as always, be excellent to each other. Right from the... Oh, God. Fuck-ups included. 505. Yeah. Let me do that one time. 5 years later, and these weirds? What were the dates on that?